Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. I am being joined, as always, by the NoDQ panel. This time being represented by the Power of Pain, Mr. David Payne, back with us after a few weeks of absence. Also being joined by the PA sensation, Greg Cherry. We have another WWE pay-per-view this Sunday. We have Extreme Rules, where for one night of the year, WWE goes extreme, although I'm not really feeling like this is the most extreme show that WWE has put together. Once again, like Backlash, I'm not really feeling this show overall. I feel like this is just another throwaway pay-per-view to kill time. And if you've been reading up on NoDQ.com, you would know that apparently WWE has not been really focusing on the current storylines. They're just basically stalling for time until SummerSlam, and that's why we're getting all these shows with multi-person matches and segments turning into matches. I was complaining about this last time. I know you guys remember that, where I was talking about how WWE would do all these segments that would start with a promo and then turn into a match. So, I mean, it's pretty clear that they're just phoning it in right now in terms of the quality of the shows. So, David, I'll start with you. Overall, are you looking forward to this pay-per-view event?
Well, I mean, if I was pro WWE, I would say, yeah, get jacked up, get the $9.99, watch this. But for me, I wouldn't go out of the way to order it. Just because I have the network's the only reason why I'm going to watch it. It seems to me that it's almost like they have too many guys on their roster. They're too stacked, and they all almost don't know how to balance it. Maybe they're just trying to figure new things out and whatnot after the brand extension mix-up or whatever. But yeah, I'm just not really looking forward to it all that much. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make me say, "Wow, I really want to watch this on Sunday." So, what do you think, Greg?
I mean, there's not really a match that I'm like super excited about either. And like you said, with the brand split, you would think that they would have more to work with. But the loss of Braun Strowman really hurt the Raw brand like more than they're letting on.
I agree.
So this is I think this is a throw-together pay-per-view, not just a throw-together match, like a throw-together pay-per-view to compensate for the loss of Strowman, and it's really showing that it's hurting their brand.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like they just threw this together, and obviously they had that issue with Braun Strowman, which put a monkey wrench in everything. They had to change plans. So on one hand, you can give them the benefit of the doubt. On the other hand, it really shows that there's not much there creative-wise, that they could not come up with something better. And I apologize if you guys hear the birds in the background. It's just such a lovely day anywhere you live, whether it's Michigan or Pennsylvania or Oregon. You got the birds adding the soundtrack to this video. That's going to be the most peaceful thing about this video. Anyways, let's talk about the card, which, as of the recording of this video, we do not have a kickoff match. Now, I'm assuming we'll just go ahead and say that it'll be R-Truth versus Goldust. We'll just throw that out there, whether it's the kickoff match or not. When they do have the match, whether it's this Sunday or on Raw or whenever, who do you guys think will win? I'll start with you, Greg.
Is it bad that this is one of the best things on Raw? A throwaway tag team like last year, like nobody took Golden Truth seriously. Like the build-up for them was actually pretty awful because they lost their first match as a team,
Yep.
And they've had very little success since. So they broke up, and now Goldust is doing classic like 1996 promos again. And it's like, this is the Goldust that we like. This is actually good. And Truth is very underrated, I'd say. And he's been underrated and underutilized his entire time there. I hope they do more with this than just one-off on the kickoff, but if that's the case, I'm going to go with Goldust. Payne?
Yeah, I'm about to go Joe Pesci and my cousin Vinny and shoot the gun and get this bird the hell out of here. No, the bird's fine. The thing is I like both of these guys. I've always liked Truth. I think he's actually pretty athletic. I think he's a decent wrestler, and it almost is a case where they're just sort of happy to be in their spot and riding out their contract almost because they really did nothing with them. I mean, it was almost, how long was this build-up? When did their tag team form? It was sometime last year, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a long time, and just for the Goldust to go bad again, I don't know if the crowds, the fans are super into it, but for nostalgia reasons, I like it, and I've always liked Dustin Reynolds, so but I'm going to say maybe R-Truth gets the win here, if they fight. I don't know. There's just something about R-Truth in particular has looked weak even all through this, so he deserves a win here, you know.
Right.
But don't forget, you know, R-Truth was actually featured on the poster, wasn't it, of Royal Rumble? He was actually on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah,
you know, he's in good with the company.
I could see R-Truth winning, and then maybe Goldust attacks him after the match or goes into further insanity. Maybe we'll get to see the artist formerly known as Goldust again. That would be cool. But I'm not betting on it. That would be
come
awesome.
in a thong and a tutu.
I would love that. I would love the artist formerly known as Goldust to return. I thought that was a very underrated gimmick. I thought that was really creative stuff that he was doing. And I think it fit in well with the Attitude Era. Would not fit in today's WWE, and there's no way they would do it, but it would be entertaining. Anyways, we've talked enough about a match that might not even happen on Sunday, so let's actually talk about the 6 matches that are set in stone for this Sunday, unless there's some sort of last-minute change or injury or whatever. We have the mixed tag team match, Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. I feel bad for Sasha. This is somewhat of a downgrade for her, I think, being put into this mixed tag team match. I guess it could be worse where she could have no spot on the card at all, so something is better than nothing, perhaps. As far as a prediction goes, I'll go first here. I assume that Sasha will win since she's by far the biggest star of the 4, but who knows in the world of WWE? I'll just go with Sasha and Rich Swann to pick up the win. Greg, your thoughts?
You know, wasn't this match supposed to be with Cedric Alexander at some point? What happened with that?
I have no idea. I mean, wasn't Alexander involved with the Noam Dar and Alicia Fox storyline? So
I'm pretty sure that was a thing on 205 Live before he got hurt. Regardless, I never go against my girl Sasha, so I have to go with Rich Swann and Sasha Banks for this one. And let's face it, this is better than watching Sasha and Nia for the 19,000th time on pay-per-view. So it is something different. So let's see what they do. And Alicia Fox, to her credit, is very underrated in the ring. Her character has been iffy at best over the last decade, which is hard to believe. But she's very athletic, and I think she's very underrated in that aspect. But my official pick is Banks and Swann.
Sounds good.
Well, just to beg to differ on the contrary and be different from the rest, I guess I'll say it's going to be the Scottish Supernova and Alicia Fox will win by some shenanigans.
Well, there you have it.
But yeah, maybe Cedric Alexander gets involved somehow. I don't know.
Maybe he's back now. I have no idea. The whole thing's really weird. It feels like it was thrown together, which it probably was. But again, at least Sasha's got something to do on the pay-per-view. Although that could end up being the kickoff match. Who knows? Next up, we have the submission match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, Neville versus Austin Aries. Now, I've been saying for months I think Austin Aries should win the title, and I still think he should win the title. However, on Raw, he tapped out Neville. Now, it does make sense in the storyline. You know, Neville is obviously going to tap. He doesn't want to risk an injury or getting hurt before his big match. So, of course, logically, he's going to tap out to the move right away. That was fine. But some weird feeling I have. I think Neville's going to retain. I'm expecting Neville to remain Cruiserweight champion, and maybe they'll do like a WrestleMania 13 angle where Austin Aries passes out instead of tapping out, and Neville wins that way without Aries actually tapping out. David, we'll start with you. Your prediction for this match.
Well, I'll save my rant for what I think about the Cruiserweight division and what they're doing with it for the next edition of Pop. But because I'm really disappointed, because I even think that Aries and Neville are losing steam with the casual fan. I mean, they go to the southern hemisphere of the United States and those crowds, and they don't even really react to it, you know. So I'm not sure what they're going to do here. I would actually agree with you and say that Neville wins, but it's hard to believe that Austin Aries would tap out. You know, but I just think more can be done with these guys, and hopefully that, maybe this spills into SummerSlam and then they tear down the house and have one of the best matches on the card, and that could help elevate the Cruiserweight division. It's probably big dreams, but, who knows? What do you think, Greg?
See, you need to have me on that Cruiserweight edition of Pop. So
Absolutely.
I have a couple talking points that I believe I mentioned in our chat, but that notwithstanding, since you guys go with Neville, I'm going to be the black sheep here, and I'm going to go with Austin Aries. So yeah, it's nice that we're having a little bit of difference of opinion with this pay-per-view as opposed to agreeing with everything. We've actually split all over the place. So I'm going to go with A-Double to become the new Cruiserweight champion.
I want to see Austin Aries win the title. I'm going against the grain. It seems like my predictions have been really off lately, so I'm going against the opposite of what I think should happen and see if my results are better with the predictions. But we'll see. I'd love to see Aries win the title, but I'm not expecting it. Next up, we have the Tag Team Steel Cage match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This one's interesting because the Hardys definitely have some momentum. It feels like they're a fairly hot act, and people want to see the broken gimmick. The question is, when is it going to happen? Cesaro and Sheamus, though, they have not gotten the upper hand on the Hardys at all in this storyline. They've been losing to the Hardys one match after another. And even on Raw, we had the Hardys and Dean Ambrose standing tall in their six-man match. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. Is it time for a title change, or are the Hardy Boys going to keep the titles? This one I'm not so sure about. Greg, I'll start with you. I'm going to go last this time because I'm very uncertain. I want to hear what you guys think. Greg, what are your thoughts?
This is probably the most uncertain match on the entire card. Because it really could go either way, and either way it goes, it would be fine. As much as I want to say the Hardys are going to retain, I'm going to go with Sheamus and Cesaro being the new champions. And yes, on Raw, you see more and more peppering of the broken gimmick. When they announced the stipulation, you heard Matt Hardy do that. Yes, it's
yeah.
They're teasing the living crap out of it. Forget everything that's going on with Impact and whatever is happening with that. I still think they're going to do it one way or the other. But I'm going to go with new champions here, Cesaro, as we like to call them.
Yes.
What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, it's funny, because it's like they picked. Well, first of all, I don't like the logic of the Cruiserweight match with the submission being Extreme Rules. And also, I didn't like the logic of them picking cage match for this. I would have thought a ladder match would have been a little bit better. If you're going to bring the Hardys back in,
they're doing Money in the Bank in 2 weeks anyway. So
that's true. Maybe you don't want to overkill it. I could see it, but since the Hardys picked the stipulation, I could see Cesaro and Sheamus capitalizing and getting the win here, and then by SummerSlam, the Hardys maybe metastasize into something else, or they move on. Or maybe they have the blow-off match at SummerSlam. Who knows? They've had a tendency to kill and oversaturate these storylines recently, and I would really hate to see, a crappy storyline or one that's drug out too far hinder the Hardys' comeback. You know what I mean? Because they're still really hot right now. And as you said, Greg, they are really teasing it. He's talking in the Shakespearean accent more, and I could definitely see that happening soon. So I'm going to go with Cesaro and Sheamus to win also, just because they haven't gotten the upper hand. But, this could really go either way. I mean, it depends whether they want to end it now and do something else with the Hardys or stretch it to SummerSlam. So What do you think, Rip?
I think it depends on if WWE is going to do this breakup angle. Whenever they're going to break up the Hardys, that's when I think they should lose the titles. At least start to plant the seeds for it when they're going to have them break up and do the broken storyline or whatever. But I think Cesaro and Sheamus really need this win. So I'm going to go with them, but this one I could see going either way. This is definitely, in my opinion, the hardest match to call. Next up, we have the kendo stick on a pole match. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. I do not care about this match at all. They had that segment on Raw, which was pretty damn bad. Not the worst segment I've ever seen. I saw all these negative comments about it, and I was bracing myself for the worst segment ever. I thought it was bad, but not the worst thing I've seen. I've definitely seen worse. It was still really stupid, though. It dragged on too long, and it did nothing to make me excited for the match. Did nothing to make me care about it. And I do not see Bayley winning the title in a match that really has no momentum going for it. It would be totally stupid to have a title change right now. Bayley's character has been pretty damaged, though. So how do you book this match in a way where Alexa can keep the title, yet Bayley can come out looking strong? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this one. It just seems like a train wreck in the making. Might be entertaining though if Bayley gets some sort of revenge with the kendo stick and just beats the crap out of Alexa, and then somebody interferes and costs Bayley the title. I could see that happening. That's going to be my prediction. In fact, I'll say Alexa wins due to some sort of interference. Greg, we'll start with you. Your thoughts?
See, Bayley is probably the worst written character on WWE television right now. And it's sad because if the match, I think, is going to actually be decent. Like, forget the storyline. I think the actual match will be good. The storyline has been abysmal. And I love me some Alexa Bliss, don't get me wrong. So I'm going to go with Alexa as my official prediction. But they really need some solid storyline. They need an edge with Bayley. And I've said this before on prediction shows.
Yeah.
That Bayley needs some sort of an edge. She can't be happy all the time. She's in her Rocky Maivia state right now. She needs, like, something to...
Die, Rocky, die. Remember that?
Exactly. I'm going to turn on Bayley because she's... They book her like a little kid, and she acts like a little kid. It's like, get some, like, badassness. I don't even know if that's a word, but, like, get something to, like, make your character, like, that's a rant for like a TSE or something. David, I'm losing my train of thought. It's your turn.
Well, I am too, because I really think they're not only dropping the ball on Bayley, but I think they're really dropping the ball on the whole women's division in Raw altogether, because it seems like outside of the main event and maybe a couple profile rivalries, they put no thought into the build-up. The go-home shows are either the stupid-ass contract signings or something really cheesy. And it's been like this for a while now, and it you could almost kill Alexa Bliss off as being this badass heel by doing stupid stuff like that. So it is really frustrating. And this is how I was told, just a little insider information of all the writers. Okay, I always thought the process was, everybody chips in, Vince takes ideas from that. What I'm told is every writer writes the entire show, and whichever one is the best, according to Vince or whomever's in charge of picking the script that night, that's the one they go with. It's kind of stupid, isn't it? They all write. It's like a homework assignment. And in this case, this Raw, I thought the opening segment was awful. I thought this one was awful. Did nothing to excite me. And I'm ranting. I'm just going to say Alexa Bliss wins, right?
All right, so we're all agreeing on this one. I mean, it's more or less a throwaway match. It would be really stupid. I mean, with the WWE logic, maybe Bayley will win just because it makes absolutely no sense at this point.
WWE logic equals zero logic, correct?
Yeah, I'm not going to predict too many title changes here. We're already predicting the tag team title change. Did we all go with the same prediction, or did anybody go with the Hardys?
No, we all went Navarro.
Okay.
We all went this.
Yeah, so I'm not predicting too many title changes. And speaking of a possible title change, we have the IC title match. If Dean Ambrose is disqualified, he will lose the title. The obvious booking thing here is that Ambrose gets DQ'd and Miz wins the title by cheating or whatever and using the stipulation to his advantage. But I'm gonna go with a little swerve here and say Ambrose retains the title. I mean, I think Ambrose as IC champion has been very disappointing, and I would be fine with Miz winning the title. But I'm gonna just experiment here and go with something different and say Ambrose retains. David, we'll start with you.
Well, my gut feeling says The Miz. Now, this would have been a really, really good time for Ambrose to lose by DQ and then snap, beat up the official, and then start transitioning him to being the heel. He doesn't need to work with Miz anymore. We've seen that on SmackDown. Yeah. It's a watered-down rivalry. This would be a great time to turn Ambrose heel. Now, that's, we can be saying that till we're blue in the face like we did for all those years with Cena. Oh, he's going to turn heel, he's going to turn. He may not. They may look at the charts and say, look, Ambrose sells merch still. He's big with the women and the teenage girls. So, maybe they'll keep him babyface. But this would be a great opportunity to turn Ambrose heel. But even if he doesn't, I still say Miz wins. And maybe some shenanigans happens and the referee doesn't see the Miz doing something dirty, but then he sees Ambrose. So, yeah, I'll go with Miz to be 7-time champion. I think right now his segments are probably, the most profiled on Raw. And since you don't have Lesnar there all the time, let Miz be that guy on Raw. Greg?
See, I'm going to go with Miz also.
Okay.
It seems like the heels regardless of which side they're on, if the champion gets disqualified, they lose the title. The heels always end up winning. I mean, Edge and John Cena at SummerSlam in 06, and of course Christian and Randy Orton at Money in the Bank in 2011. It just seems like the heels have the advantage in this kind of match because one way or another, like, they seem to pull it out. So I'm going to go with Miz. And I don't think Ambrose should turn heel. I do think that, much like Orton and Christian at Money in the Bank, Ambrose gets disqualified and then goes absolutely insane and destroys the Miz in the process. Whether that's a blow-off feud, I would really like to see Ambrose get a little more mental and not so goofy.
Yeah.
Right. They already have enough comedy gimmicks on Raw. They don't need to relegate Dean Ambrose to that. I think they can use him a lot, better and utilize him a lot better than they have been.
Yeah, if I wanted to watch full comedy shows, I'd watch Comedy Central. But I'm there for the wrestling. It's like, you can have one comedy match, maybe two. It's like, don't make the entire freaking show a laughing stock,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I agree.
Well, we'll see what happens. Makes perfect sense for Ambrose to lose the title by DQ, but I'm not going by traditional logic. I'm going by WWE logic and saying that Ambrose will win. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe this will be the one pay-per-view where WWE actually does everything that makes sense. Who knows?
We'll see.
All right, moving on here to the main event, the Fatal 5-Way match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Universal Championship. I'm assuming the match will be at Great Balls of Fire. We have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, or Finn Balor as Kurt Angle would call him, versus Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe. Now, I looked on NoDQ.com's poll, and currently Finn Balor is winning by a large margin for predictions. People think he's going to win, and they did that promo with Paul Heyman, which logic would make you think that that's what WWE is setting up, a Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor match. But I think that it's looking so obvious now, and WWE loves to do, especially in these 4 or 5-way matches or 6-way matches, they like to have somebody unexpected win as a swerve to throw everybody off. Everyone's thinking Finn Balor. Seth Rollins is another guy people are expecting. Samoa Joe won on Raw. I would be surprised if Joe won. Roman Reigns got a big win over Seth Rollins on Raw. But, I mean, WWE's not going to be doing Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar this soon. They're saving it likely for WrestleMania. I'm going to go with the guy who people are least expecting to win, and that's Bray Wyatt. I think WWE is going to do Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. A month ago, I would not have said this, but after the Backlash pay-per-view, after Jinder Mahal won the WWE title, I'm starting to feel like WWE will just swerve people for the sake of swerving. And I think back to last year when Zack Ryder won Money in the Bank. So all these things going in my head, WWE doing these weird swerves and trying to throw people off. I'm going to say Bray Wyatt just for the hell of it, just to do something different with my predictions for once. But, I mean, if you're going to bet money on it, Finn Balor seems like the obvious bet. Greg, we'll start with you. Are you going to go with the obvious, or are you going to go with something different that might throw everybody off?
Well, my wife's not here, so I can't directly say Finn Balor because, well, her pick would be Finn Balor. I'm actually going to go with a match that didn't have a conclusive finish at a pay-per-view in, 2015. I'm going to go with Seth frickin' Rollins to win the Fatal 5-Way, and Rollins and Lesnar have a conclusive finish. Reigns and Lesnar didn't have a conclusive finish either, but Rollins, I think, would benefit from a match against Lesnar because his character is kind of, as a babyface, is like, he's an amazing athlete. We all know that. He just needs something bigger as a babyface to elevate him. And I don't think the Triple H match was enough. So I'm picking Rollins to win it. David?
Well, I'm not going to go with what ifs. I'm going to just tell you guys how I would book it personally. Okay. And I think what they need to do with Finn Balor, because obviously Finn Balor on paper against Brock Lesnar, it seems like a squash. It seems like what they would have done when if Daniel Bryan hadn't got hurt. He was originally supposed to get squashed by Brock Lesnar. I don't see that happen. I see them teasing Balor for the good portion of the year, letting him be the underdog, and then he'll get his, maybe Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, he'll get his shot. But I don't see it happening right now. And I'm sure it's going to play out where oh, dude, I never really lost the belt. I still deserve my shot, but I don't think it's going to be right here. I think they're going to drag it out. Now, just to differ from you guys, I'm going to say that it'll be Samoa Joe. Why? Because personally, if I'm booking a big money match at SummerSlam, I like this better than Goldberg and Lesnar. Like Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar, holy shit, that's a once in a lifetime match, and I would love to see that. Now, of course, that's me being a smart mark booking it, but that's what I would do. And then tease Balor, let Balor be the Daniel Bryan underdog, and then Seth Rollins, I could see getting not relegated, but I can see him maybe fighting for the IC title with the Miz, letting them guys have a program there, let them elevate that mid card, and then again, you said Aaron Reigns will be saved for WrestleMania. That's why I don't see him winning. Rollins is a logical choice, but just like I say, to differ, I'm going to go with Samoa Joe and just kind of tease the Balor thing so he doesn't look bad getting squashed by Lesnar, so.
Interesting prediction there. So we'll see what happens. Joe and Lesnar would be an awesome match, but I think Joe should be the guy to beat Lesnar, in my own personal opinion. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's interesting. We're going with some different picks here, and should be. I think the predictions are more interesting than the show, actually, to see who's going to be right in this. So we'll see what happens. That's about it for Extreme Rules. If there are any other matches added, I'm sure we'll comment on social media. We'll get the plugs out now. We'll start with you, Greg.
On Twitter and Instagram at PA Sensation. Keep sending in your questions for the Sensational Experience. Not doing a Q&A show this weekend. Not doing an Extreme Rules Best Matches show either. Just check it out and you'll see what you're in for.
All right, sounds good. David?
Yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter at SmartMark420. I'm getting my Mac computer fixed this week, so hopefully we'll have a show. If not, maybe I'll shoot one here with the iPhone, as long as we do it, either Wednesday, or if we do it in the daytime any of the other days, like before 2. I'll try to get a pop, because I have a lot of ideas. I want to have obviously both you guys on. We'll get Virtue on, and talk about the state of the WWE. So stay tuned for that. And hey, look. Where is it at here? Oh yeah, look at the tag team champions right here.
They're cut off. I don't even see them, but it's okay. It's all good in the hood. All right, David. Well, thank you for sharing that. And actually, I think your quality is pretty good with the iPhone. I think you should just stick with that. And hopefully, this video quality was better overall. I just recently updated the software for Skype, and on my end, it looks great. The video quality looks really solid. The audio is good. So hopefully, you guys notice a little bit better quality. I know some of you guys complain and say, oh, you guys are using potatoes in 2017. But the iPhone works great. The iPhone has great quality, and hopefully moving forward we'll have some better quality with these videos. We're using the best technology that we have. Recently updated the iMac software, so that should make a difference too. Hopefully it was good for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please share it. Go on Facebook, Twitter. Send a link to your friends to check out this video, and let us know what you think. Leave your comments on NoDQ.com. If you want responses from us, comment on NoDQ.com. You can comment on YouTube, but my focus is going to be on responding to people on the website. So if you guys want to get responses from us, leave a comment on the NoDQ.com page for this video. With that being said, we will see you guys next time, maybe Pop later this week, and then of course for our review video of WWE Extreme Rules. NoDQ.com will have you covered, excuse me, and we'll see you next time.